In 1990, one of the greatest comic book adaptations ever made burst onto the big screen. Warren Beatty's Dick Tracy. With its star-studded cast, bold colours, unforgettable villains, and a tidal wave of merchandise, this film became a short-lived but powerful cultural phenomenon. Now, more than 30 years later, this podcast is here to explore, unpack, and dissect this brightly coloured masterpiece, week by week, scene by scene. So pull up a chair at the Southside Warehouse, because there's going to be a big payoff.
Hello and welcome to Talking Dick, the Dick Tracy movie podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Simon Creswell, and joining me, who knows his Roberts from his rodents, Mr.
James Tilling.
Just trying to make you laugh at the start of the show.
It's not hard.
No. We spend a lot on this show laughing, don't we?
Yeah.
But that's the joy of Dick Tracy. Makes us all laugh and feel good.
Absolutely.
I might start saying welcome to the Church of Dick at the start of every episode.
Yeah, you'll definitely get a laugh then.
Yeah. The Church of Dick Tracy.
Yes, of course.
I want to mix things up this week. Before we get into today's episode, I want to do the purchases at the start.
Yeah.
We're going to go throw a bit of a curveball here. So let's start things off. Weekly Dick Tracy purchases, James. Have you made a Dick Tracy purchase this week?
I have made a purchase, something that I have been looking at for a long time, and I should have got it ages ago, and I've had to wait all the way till now to get it. But that is the Dick Tracy making of book, which you also have, obviously, and it really is honestly the Bible of Dick Tracy. It's unbelievable. You know, I every Dick Tracy fan should honestly have one. I mean, I think Mike Bonifer should get royalties somehow, more royalties from us.
I tried looking him up. I couldn't really pin down. There was quite a lot of similar named people. I couldn't pin down the right one, but I'd like to think he's still out there. And if he is, get him on the podcast, because he was obviously on set, wasn't he, writing all this stuff?
That's what I mean. That's what I say. It's such a unique first-hand account that it genuinely, I can't find a lot of this information anywhere else other than in this book.
Yeah.
The only extra bit that I have on my book is that on the inside cover, there was some writing. At first, I just thought, "Oh my God, is that someone's like signature? Was it for like some set director? God, I don't know." But it's Jackie Coleman. It says 1994.
Okay.
I searched online. I couldn't find anybody, so it was probably just the name of the librarian that had the book to put on the shelf or something. And
well, mine says Snooper's Paradise on the front, Brighton. Which is that cool shop in Brighton with all the antique stuff. You go through the turnstile to go in.
That is cool.
I didn't buy it from there, but obviously that's originally where it came from.
Cool. Yeah. So I finally have made a purchase of the week, which has been a while.
Well, I'm going to try and top you there with my purchase, which I wanted to start the show off with. I have brought the Dick Tracy Fun Book, which is of puzzles, games, and jokes.
Brilliant.
So I got it because I was like, jokes? Dick Tracy jokes?
Oh.
So there's a couple of sections. One is called Crime Cacklers.
Okay.
And essentially what they've done is just got regular jokes, but the jokes are being said by characters in the film.
Amazing.
For example, Numbers says, "Why are bakers like bank robbers?" The Rodent says, "They get their hands into the dough." And then we've got Prune Face. "Excuse me, madam, you haven't seen Dick Tracy around here, have you?" Woman. So no character, just woman. "No, I haven't." Prune Face. "Good. Stick 'em up. Give me all your money."
Brilliant. They've just picked random characters, haven't they? There's no specifics to why Prune Face had to go and do that.
No, exactly that. Then there's a page of knock jokes.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, these are said by Dick Tracy characters, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. So, Tracy, knock. So you're the kid.
Okay. Who's there?
Ella.
Ella who?
Elementary, my dear Watson. Not even a Tracy joke, is it? It's not even a pun.
But okay, you know what? I wish they had that in the movie. That was a missed trick. That they should have put that scene in there. They should have done that.
Well, the rodent gets another. This is quite a good one. So you can play the rodent. Here we go.
Okay.
I'm big boy apparently.
Okay.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Franz.
Franz who?
Franz, Roman's countryman. Lend me your ears. It's not good. But again, no relevance to Dick Tracy.
Yeah, love it.
There's one more page. It says, play it again. And it says, breathless, sure knows her business. She sings songs she's certain big boys' clientele will enjoy. Naturally, she makes sure she doesn't sing anything that will make the hood scram. Jailhouse Rock, for instance, would be out of the question. Here are a few of her breathless hits that she sings every night. A Hard Day's Fight by the Beatles. Hoods Just Want to Have Guns by Cyndi Lauper. Big Boy Don't Cry by the Four Seasons. This is a good one. Strawberry Fiends Forever by the Beatles. And another classic, If I Could Turn Back Crime by Cher.
Very good.
Gold.
It is.
It's got word searches and puzzles and things, but maybe I'll come back at some point with some more jokes that aren't from Dick Tracy.
Yeah. That's so random.
The merchandise for this film is unreal, isn't it? Just anything that Disney could make.
Exactly.
Had a hand in.
You have nothing to do with Dick Tracy. Just stick the characters' names in, and bam, there you go. It's Dick Tracy merchandise, just like that.
Yep, that's it. And I saw that. I thought it was 99p, and I was like, I've just got to have it. Okay, on to this week's episode. We are talking this week production design of Dick Tracy. James, have you got an intro for us on production design?
So today we are talking about set design and art direction of Dick Tracy and why it stands out as one of the most radical visual experiments ever attempted by a major studio. More importantly, we're talking about the man who made those experiments cohere, production designer Richard Silbert. Silbert wasn't interested in creating a 1930s as a lived-in era. He was interested in creating how the 1930s were remembered, flattened, exaggerated, and distilled through the language of comic strip. Working with Chester Gould's famously stark illustrations, Silbert helped build a city that isn't realistic, but instantly readable. A city of simplified shapes, towering silhouettes, and streets that feel more like stages than locations. Colour becomes storytelling, space becomes character, architecture becomes emotion. In Dick Tracy, the environments don't fade into the background, they actively shape how we understand morality, power, corruption, and heroism. Tracy's bright yellow coat doesn't just identify him, it declares him. Big Boy's massive, oppressive spaces aren't just settings, they're extensions of his physical and psychological weight. Richard Silbert was uniquely equipped to do this. Across his career from Chinatown to Reds to Dick Tracy, he understood that production design isn't about realism, it's about meaning. What does this space tell us before a single line of dialogue is spoken? Long before Sin City, before digital blackouts and hyper-stylized comic adaptations became common, Dick Tracy proved that production design could be a film's dominant voice, that a designed world could be the story. So today, we're diving into how Dick Tracy was built, why it looks the way it does, and why Richard Silbert deserves to be remembered not just as a craftsman, but as an architect of cinematic language.
Wow. Well, that's the episode. Thank you for listening. I think you covered everything. So a lot to unpick there, but Richard Silbert then. So he was born in the 1920s, April the 16th, 1928, which is easy to remember because it's our granddad's birthday, the day and year.
So born on exactly the same day as our granddad. That's right.
Easy one to remember. And he was a twin, wasn't he, Richard Silbert?
That's right. Yeah. So he had a twin brother. I believe, was it Paul? Was it his twin brother?
I do. I've not got it written down, but he was also involved in film, wasn't he?
Yeah, yeah. So he was also an art director as well. I didn't look up what his filmography was, but yeah, pretty crazy that the pair of them both ended up getting into exactly the same industry, but then set across. They didn't work as a pair together, but did their own things in their own right. Quite incredible.
Yeah. And I read that Richard Silbert went on to be, is it the head of Paramount? Or he was running Paramount at one point as well. So he rose
Yes.
through the ranks,
Mm.
which I thought was pretty incredible. So he didn't just like have a small career in the studios. He was
No.
like running one of the studios in the 1970s.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess, like I alluded to a bit in that introduction there, it was just like how back, from the 90s, especially back, how important scent direction was before you had all the digital artistry came along to kind of do a lot of that bit for you. And it was such a craft, and, the time that was taken for it.
Well, because breaking this down, production design then. So they write in the script, I know Big Boy is in his office. There's a large desk, light shining through the windows. And then the production designer will basically then create the set to scale, ready to put the cameras, where they need to be, almost like leaving gaps, I guess, for camera angles to be placed. So you're almost building like 2/3 of a set. You're not going to build like 4 sides. Well, some cases you might. But
yeah, depending on where they're going to shoot it, if they're going to leave off sections of the set that you don't need to worry about. Like there was one set that they talk about is the gear house, which is in the drawbridge at the end of the film. That was a closed set, which he talks about it in the book. Then they called it like the boxing ring. So it was a complete set, so you could film it from any angle, and they were like, oh, that was just great that you could do that. So it didn't matter, you could shoot from any angle, any direction, and you got it all. Where I guess, other sets would only have a particular angle that you could shoot it from.
Yeah. And he talks actually in the book about the gear house at the end being flat, like a flat set,
Yes.
to help with their spatial awareness. So there wasn't like different levels. Everything was on the same level.
Yeah.
Though the thing about that, the blank does appear at one point higher up, doesn't he? He's sort of looking over the edge. Or maybe it is the same level, but in my mind, when they look across at the blank is like out a window.
Yeah.
But,
or is that, there's a bit when he's at a window when he speaks to 88 Keys when he's high up, but that's in a warehouse. That's obviously a totally different scene.
Yeah. I thought when the blank turns up at the end, it's like looking down on Big Boy, but maybe I've just misremembered it. Maybe it is on the same level.
Okay. But yeah, Richard would work closely with an illustrator first. Which I forgot what his name is. If you got that to hand,
there's 3 people mentioned here in the book he worked with: the art director Harold Michelson, production illustrator Bill Major, and set designer James Murakami. So they're the 3 key people he worked with. But then he also worked alongside the cinematographer and the costume, didn't he, as well?
That's
they
right,
were also working together.
Yeah, so Milena and Vitaro, isn't it, is the DOP?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So it just says here in the book, just breaking down some of the roles. So Michelson worked out the projections on each exterior shot that required a matte, like a matte painting. And these projections, by indicating a camera lens and the height of the lens off the ground, calculated exactly what portion of the frame would be composed of the actual set and what would be painted as a matte. And then Silbert himself worked out projections, calculating what the camera would see for each interior set. It's quite complicated stuff. I read that and I'm lost.
Yeah.
But these went along with pencil plans and elevations to illustrator Bill Major, who executed watercolor drawings of the sets, and set designer James Murakami, who drafted detailed 1/4-inch scale blueprints. God. So they're going from drawings, like maps, almost like of a room, to watercolored prints, to I guess then actually building the set itself before even a single frame has been shot. These guys are designing. Oh, it must be the same in theatre, mustn't it? Must be very similar.
Yeah, it is such a manual process. It's like everyone's got to pick up a pencil or a pen or a charcoal and draw this stuff down. Then you've got to sit and you've got to build miniatures and then build the sets. It's like there's no like easy way to get around it. It's such a hands-on process.
And it says here everything beyond that human distance was painted. So everything beyond what you see in the set in the background was painted. It said Dick Tracy is quite possibly the first motion picture in which mattes were not used to complete an illusion of reality, but to become the look of the movie, a look somewhere between reality and fantasy. So, I mean, in this film, a set is a set, and the background is a comic book background. They don't want you to think it's real.
No.
And I think that's kind of what he was aiming for with this, in getting that comic book look, wasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because it was always that thing, especially at the scene at the beginning of the film when the kind of like the camera, as it were, is kind of going over the skyline, and especially I think over the skyline and coming down towards the Ritz Club, and it doesn't look real. But but like just like you said, it's not made to look real, and I think initially it is a little bit jarring when you start watching it.
It's trying to look like a Chester Gould comic, isn't it? It's
Yes,
trying to
it
look
is.
like his comic strip, I guess.
Yeah, and it's that realization that they're creating this middle ground of reality and fiction, and they're leaving you somewhere in the middle. And it's again like a comic book, and like we said many times before on here, is that it was the first of its kind at the time. It was such a risky, bold decision to do.
Yeah, I mean, and he says in his book that Warren Beatty at one point was talking about using real streets and real sets. And Silbert actually said to him, "You don't have any choice, Warren. You can't make this picture in a city. Don't even think about it." Because I guess they want to control every aspect. And if you're shooting it in a real city, there's going to be different colours. There's going to be different types of wood or brick. Whereas this is a set, and they can do whatever they want. Every colour is those 7 colours? We said before 10 colours.
Yeah, that's it.
So they can keep jumping to that, can't they?
I think as well in the same section in that when I was reading that Silbert had apparently of the 70, 80 many films that he'd done, he only done a handful on set. They were largely always on location for doing streets. So like one of them was Chinatown. So that apparently all bar 1 or 2 scenes were on location. And so interestingly for Silbert to tell Warren that we've got to do this on a set, this has all got to be on a set and built, whereas like that's not what he was coming from. So he was stepping out of his comfort zone to do a film now that's so majority done on set and all built. But he realised that was, as you said, that was the only way to do it and get the result that Warren wanted.
Yeah. It reminds me a little bit of those musicals, like the 50s ones, Guys and Dolls. The kind of look of those where clearly a set is a set. They're all shot indoors, aren't they? All of it.
Yeah.
But Tracy doesn't look like that as such. It doesn't look like it's all indoors. It just looks like the streets are empty. It's a very controlled environment. You're not having tons of extras and noise and whatever. It feels very isolated, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. I mean, again, the more I've read about it now, it's like I get it now, because I think in an earlier episode I'd said like why there was so few extras. I think was that a budgetary reason why they didn't have that, but it's like no, it was that was the intention. Like the backdrop and the set and all the pieces in it are like another character. So why on earth do you need to fulfill it with loads of random extra people? Because the set is telling you the story, and setting you up.
We're learning as we go, though, because I didn't know who Richard Silbert was before this podcast we started doing. I was like, didn't know much about him, and now I'm like, I feel like I'm an expert on him. But he just circling back then. So he was involved in Reds that Tracy did, not Tracy, Warren Beatty did, and the Cotton Club keeps coming up, doesn't it, as well? That film. That's what was it? Doug Drexler worked on. One of them.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, one of the makeup guys. That's right.
But he goes right back to like the 1950s. The interesting one for me here as well was Rosemary's Baby. I didn't know he did that.
Yeah, that's Roman Polanski, isn't it?
And The Graduate.
Is that?
I mean, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Wow. All these huge films. The Mancunian Candidate. Yeah, he's involved in that. Right up into the 80s when he's making. There was a Madonna video on there. And the Cotton Club we've mentioned, and Breathless. So he's like quite prolific all the way up to before he died in 2002. He was making stuff.
I see he did Carlito's Way as well.
Yeah, which
another one with Pacino.
Yeah. So I mean, this guy, what an absolute legend! Just doing this, working in the industry for 40 years. And he was good friends with Warren Beatty, wasn't he? Was that right?
He was, yeah. So as it says, in the book here. Between 1986 and 1988, Warren Beatty called Silbert to his Mulholland Drive home several times to sit in the kitchen and discuss Dick Tracy. As Silbert well knew, this was a familiar ritual of Beatty's romances with movie projects. He says, "I've known Warren for 29 years. He's the oldest friend I have in Hollywood. I've done 7 pictures with him, and I know that when he's ready, he'll be ready." And so, as it did with the 9 years for Reds and the 5 years for Shampoo, finally it happens. One meeting when you realise you're getting serious.
Yeah.
So obviously, the amount of preparation that Warren was doing with Richard.
And as we said before, did Warren have dirt on all these people? Because he's just got all these people flocking to work with him, like the best of the best. Like, what did he have on him?
Yeah. I mean, again, I think because Warren was renowned for being a bit of a perfectionist, so maybe some of these guys were as well, and they kind of gravitate towards one another, and they're both striving to get the best results out of each other.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it, and they enjoy that challenge.
It just another bit in the book here. He says that there's never been a better proof of the old artistic axiom "less is more" than in production design of Dick Tracy. The colours of the sets, the costumes, like the emotions of the characters, are primary. The architecture, like the division between good and evil, is clean, well defined, and drawn in straight lines. And the book goes on about the good and evil thing, and it talks about Big Boy being Hitler-esque. Did you read that?
Yes. Yeah, I did. Yeah, because again, it's like it's the subtleties of not realizing these things. I mean, when you read it, it's of course it's like saying how in his meeting room it was red and black, which was obviously the signs of the Nazi flag, and that was. And
I never picked up on that. I never thought about his boardroom as being Hitler-esque.
Yeah, you're right, because I think it says that the conference room, Silbert designed it in the black and red of the Nazi flag and felt a warm glow when he saw that Pacino's Big Boy was a takeoff on Hitler. So, yeah, because again, like we said before with Al Pacino, that was Al's desire to kind of go down that road for Big Boy, and then neither of them knew they were heading in the same path together. So another reason why it worked so well.
He said he was a delight that Al Pacino had chosen to play Big Boy as a Hitlerized comic book mobster, a Nazi knucklehead. I don't think we use the term Nazi knucklehead enough. I think that's a...
No, don't. That's a great one.
But the kind of joy of this is because they've got the universal backlot, and they can do anything they want within that. I think it made a real difference to this film, because they're not like, okay, we've got 2 days to shoot this in New York, in this street. Yeah. We can shut the street and stop people coming in. They're like, oh, we've got the backlot. Yeah, shoot for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's all nighttime, isn't it? What, like the film's like, 90% nighttime?
Yeah, exactly. So much of it is. Yeah. You're right. Again, there's another bit in the book here as well that, like, I can't bring up the passage, but from memory, it was how, like, with all the colours, that they'd get everything just painted. So, like, Warren would be like, right, there's a scene in his office, right, well, let's just paint, this is red, this would be green, and whatever. And then that just extended. So when they had, like, an exterior shot, and there was a building, and it was, like, kind of off brick colour, and no, we don't want that, we want proper, like, yellow or something. And then they'd paint entire sets. And like building fronts, facades that were part of the backlot, and he's painting all the backlot sets, and ended up just doing everything.
Yeah. And the effort. I mean, if you've ever painted a wall in your house, it's taken a day, and we stood there bitching about it, and we're covered in paint. This guy's painting like rooms and sets and everything, all day, every day.
Yeah,
him and his team.
Yeah, but it is this. It is that attention to detail. It's right that it's like, if you're going to go that way, you've got to go the whole way. Because otherwise it's like, oh yeah, we'll paint these sets and we'll paint these walls, but, we'll miss these bits. And then if you went back and watched it and an odd shade of blue came out, or a turquoise or something that isn't in the movie, you'd be like, whoa, what's that? And it would be jarring. So to make sure that everything was kept to that colour scheme,
like a comic book.
It's incredible.
Yeah. As we've said before.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's, yeah. And I think it's like that was the Bible for all of them, for all the departments, is to go back. It was the comic book. We've all got to strive the costumes to look like the comic book, for the sets to look like the comic book, and the prosthetics of the characters to look like it.
He talks in the book about how Barbara Streisand visited one day and was impressed by the production design. And that she was basically went into one of the sets, which was very bare. There was not much to it. And she was like, "It's so beautiful." And Silbert shrugged. It was a wall, but that was the effect it had on people. Like literally, Barbara Streisand looking like a wall, going, "Wow, it's beautiful."
Wow. As she's smoking a joint, this is incredible.
Wow. But I love that though, that people are just so impressed by just the visuals of just nothing going on, not even the acting, just the sets. And in the book, and we can share these. There's some photos they put in freeze. So there's one of the staircase in the hotel lobby, and it's just like a sketch, and then it shows you the illustration of someone looking at Tracy, inverted commas, going up the stairs, and then it shows you the shot in the film.
Yeah.
It's on one of the pages towards the end.
Yes.
But you can just see how the set adds something to it, and then the lighting and the camera add everything else, and the costume. And then when you've got the final shot, it looks amazing. It looks like a film noir, doesn't it? It's just
it does.
Yeah. It's just blowing my mind looking at these sets. I hadn't really ever kind of focused on the sets like this before, and I think it's just it's incredible.
And another one that's in here that is like another cool set is the diner, which is like, funny enough, it feels like a 50s diner, even though it's like 30s. I guess maybe it's all part of the same thing, but you've got the original sketch that's been done, the drawing by Bill Major. And it says on there that you've got the original drawing with Dick Tracy and Tess, who discover the kid asleep in the booth. Big blocks of colour and texture embolden the design and the frame of the kid, who has now become the focus of the scene, having just stolen a watch. So how they're kind of like picking up on those things, but then also how they took that, and then they changed it and said, "Oh well, the kid isn't. They don't find him asleep on the bench. Obviously, it's find him elsewhere."
But you can see as well how well constructed the diner is. It's just, it looks exactly like an American diner. You can almost be convinced it was real, couldn't you? I did read actually that it says Beatty decided to shift the time period from 1928 to 1930 late. So he shifted it on 2 years. It said steering it away from the 1920s style altogether and keeping it ahead of the war years. So yeah, just a conscious choice to put it in the 30s rather than the late 20s.
It's interesting.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, no, I didn't know that. And that's not something I would have been able to ever pick up, that they've made that subtle change.
Because the cars are more 30s, aren't they, than 20s? I don't even think they had cars like that in the 20s, but maybe
no, they did. Yeah, again, I think that was a stylistic choice of the cars that they wanted to be in the film, were more geared to that 30s era. So maybe that was another part of it.
We're both sat here going through these books now, trying like it's some sort of Bible. But there's also a guy you mentioned, production illustrator Leon Harris is another one, another long-time collaborator who took them to the next step of the evolutionary ladder. In the preliminary sketches by Silbert and Harris, a generic city looms over Steve the Tramp's shack. Tracy chases the kids past a long warehouse labelled simply warehouse, and the wheels of a steam locomotive blast past the camera. A railway yard becomes a series of geometric designs. The monuments and a cemetery blend into the buildings of the city in the background, so that the two are indistinguishable. An industrial age drawbridge spans a river lined with rotting wood docks. This was a shadowy world of Dick Tracy, the gritty city where the gumshoe would leave his footprints. I just like the paragraph.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's so well written.
Just talking you through the sets and the Steve the Tramp and the locomotive.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the way this is written. But
I
don't know, because I did read the other day. I don't know if you knew this. The bit where he chases the kid past a warehouse is real.
Yeah,
it was a real building. It's one of the few bits in this film where they used a real set. Don't know if you knew that.
Oh, right. No, I didn't know that.
And I think
No.
it's been knocked down now. But I believe, and I'd have to look at the locations, Dick Tracy, but that's one of the few bits you could have visited after the film. It was Los Angeles Soap Company, 500 block
Oh
of
my
Banning
God.
Street, downtown Los Angeles. Tracy traces the kid through the industrial era. Though the scene is highly matte painted, the buildings are still present. So they used that one shot in LA for that.
God. So that's got to be one of the, did you say one of the only on-location shots in the movie?
But in the sketch you can see him, and we'll put the picture up, but you can see the warehouse. But that's whether they had sent a location scout to find a warehouse and then just decided they couldn't build it. Well, it's massive, isn't it? Maybe they just thought we just can't build that. But I want to rewatch Dick Tracy again now. I mean, I'll say that most days. But, but just to see if a real building stands out compared to all the Universal sets. But just more interesting Dick Tracy facts. Anything else you want to share about the production design?
I guess this is talking about some of the other sets. Probably the other big one, which I think they said was the first set that they built, was the Ritz Club.
Of course.
Being that there's obviously quite a lot of scenes that are done there. There's obviously probably the largest amount of actors that are in those scenes. So they said they put a lot of time and effort into building that. And then obviously the way they set up the stage and having Breathless, like this China doll on that stage, penned in by the framework of the stage and the curtains and everything around her. I thought that was all very, very cool. And then again, like, it's mad because I think all these years, I think like, oh, they just find an old club somewhere and film it in that. And it's like, no, of course they didn't. They built it all.
And I read somewhere that that club had like 3 entrances as well. They built like 3 separate entrances. I can't remember for what purpose. Perhaps just so extras could come and go. So, I mean, I can think of one entrance is when he takes Tess. Isn't it? Another entrance would be probably through the stage, and then there'll be the main doorway into the club as well. So I can think of those three as it stands. But I'm looking at a picture of the club here. It just looks real. There's no doubt in my mind that isn't a real club. Which is just incredible work. I mean, no wonder because he was obviously he was Oscar and BAFTA nominated and won, didn't he, for the production design?
He did, he did, definitely. I think they won it for both. Won it for definitely the Oscar and the BAFTA as well. So obviously all of his peers were well aware of what he'd done and how good it was. That they honoured him for it.
Yeah, and rightly so. I don't know I can't remember who he was up against now. We've done a whole episode on the awards, which you can go back and listen to if people haven't heard it.
I mean, I guess one thing I'll just touch upon here, which we'll probably go more to into a later episode, but saying about the awards is that he won that Oscar alongside Rick Simpson, who was the set decorator. Okay. And his job was to obviously build and construct all of this stuff. So that Richard came up with the vision and the design, and then obviously had to give that to Rick to build it. I think that's a whole other area to go into to what Rick's contribution was and to fulfilling that next part of the vision, which seems like that's part of the movie making process, is that it's this conception of an idea and you hand it on to all these people down the chain for it to then fulfill itself at the end.
Yeah. I think Dick Tracy, the more I read about it, is a team project, isn't it? I think Warren, from what I can read, sees it as that. He might have the overall say. He's like, the god of Dick Tracy. But I do think he respects a good craftsmanship of a team who are working hard to bring this to the screen. There's so much creative talent on this film.
Oh, yeah, it is. And it's made in a way that a film would never be made this way anymore.
Oh, you just CGI it, or wouldn't you? Or you would use real locations as well, because people tend to do that more and more, don't they, these days, than build sets.
Yeah.
But there's one more kind of story in this book. It talks about one of the hallways not being right. I don't know if you read that. And then the team got in there quickly, on the day and carved more kind of rivets in the side to give an illusion of forced perspective. So the corridor was longer than it actually was. I mean, that's skill.
Right, yeah, because isn't it? It's, yeah. Because I think that's the scene with Tracy and D.A. Fletcher, So they're walking down the corridor, and exactly as you said, they got to set and realised it didn't look as long as it was meant to have done. So you're right, it added loads of extra pillars, made them different sizes, and then spaced them all out in a way to do a forced perspective to make it feel longer. And they did that on the day. On the day that they were shooting that scene, had to quickly make all of those
just
changes.
Crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. But they were working on this film from what, 88? So like, months before even anything was even shot, he was there. Creating these sets.
As I said, Richard started doing stuff with Warren in 1986. And then I think in there I read that, so the first day of shooting was February 1989. The set designing took place in June 88. So they started building sets in June, and February of the following year they started shooting. It's like 8 months of building sets before you even got the camera out.
It's insane. The one I couldn't find the info about was the graveyard. I was trying to work out if they'd built that graveyard, if it was a matte painting, a combination. Didn't seem to be any information about it.
No,
because that's outside of all the buildings, which are all obviously sets. That's a weird one because I can't quite tell with that.
I feel it is a set because of you've got the moon, haven't you, behind, and then the cityscape.
Oh, the background's definitely fake
at the back.
But is it? Did they film it in a real park or a real graveyard? Maybe not. Maybe they just made all the gravestones. I don't know.
I mean, I think this is it. It is hard to tell what is the real and what's not. But that's the whole idea. It's meant to, that scene feels more real, and I think it's meant to. And then you kind of don't know if I am or I'm not, and that adds to the feeling of that particular scene and the the danger and the peril that kind of goes along with it. I think they said that scene, it was like it meant just like a kind of little nod to Hitchcock, apparently.
Okay, well, the way it was lit.
Yeah, it said it said Diopa. It said shot the graveyard in Dick Tracy. The effect added a dash of Hitchcock to the film.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if that was again where they have that effect where Breathless is in the car and she's in focus, and Big Boy and the gang are kind of outside the car and further away, and they're also in focus. So maybe that's what it was referring to.
Yeah, I'm definitely watching Dick Tracy again this week. I'm reading this chapter. I'm just dying to see it again. With my wife, and just sit here and go, look at these sets. Look how amazing they are. Silbert did that. So just as we kind of finish up on this section, what are some of your favourite sets? Is there anything that stands out for you that you particularly like? I mean, obviously you've got the Club Ritz and that, but are there any other ones that you can think of?
The station, that does look really cool. I like that. I think I've read in there as well that the colour scheme in there was meant to be a little bit warmer and to make it feel safe, because from Tracy's perspective, the station should be the safest place to be. But that looks really that looks good. The interrogation room, his office, and the corridor with Sam and Pat coming through.
What about the Southside warehouse?
Of course,
which just an amazing looking set.
Yeah, that is exactly. Yeah, that is good. Yeah, with the bath, that is a good shout. Yeah, again, it's like it's a warehouse, isn't it? But I'm like, is it though now? I don't know.
Is it real? One really simple one I like, and it's always stood out for me, is when Pat jumps through the roof and Tracy jumps up. Yeah, that kind of room that Tracy's
on the roof of the Ritz.
Tracy's trapped in that room, and there's like a chair and a table. And in my head, I had to rewatch it, but that's quite a colourful room and very bare and minimal. But it's just almost like I don't know how to describe it. Just a very comic book set that stands out for me, even though there's nothing in the room. I sound like Barbara Streisand did, don't I? I'm getting excited about an empty room. But Pat's looking down at him and Tracy's looking up. So you've had to build this so you can see from above. You have to build it so you can see up. You've got the four sides of the room. I'd say it's almost constructed as a cube when you think about it, because it's got every side of that room is seen. So I don't know, just something that I was just thinking about. That in itself is an achievement.
What can sound like something that's a simple shot with little in it and bare it kind of isn't. It's still complicated, and and it leaves you feeling awed by it, even though when you break it down, it doesn't feel that there's a lot there.
I wonder if any of these guys are still around, actually. We need to look up. Obviously, we know that Silbert isn't, but I wonder if any of the other guys are still making films.
I know that Rick Simpson, who he got the Oscar with, I believe he's still around, but he's retired. Yeah. I think they drafted in so many of their kind of co-workers and their mentors, like we found like with the makeup stuff with Dick Smith, that yeah, probably a lot of them probably have gone, because a lot of them kind of came in at the kind of end of their careers, I think, as extra hands to help. But there's got to be some more out there. There's so many people were involved in this that there's still got to be big portions of
someone who was a carpenter on it,
around.
or someone who just did something simple. There's got to be some people out there. So if you're listening to this and you worked on the set building of Dick Tracy, get in touch.
Yeah. Or even if you just work on set building and you can just put us straight and tell us exactly how it's meant to be, or tell us how they did this and how a movie today is actually done.
These two guys rambling through something they don't understand. But a couple of quotes here at the end of the book. Then it says, the great fun of this picture was that it was a great time in my life to take this kind of risk. And that's a quote by Silbert. With his work on Dick Tracy completed, Silbert talks like a man who had not only found his way home without a compass, but had discovered gold along the way. I mean, this book is just incredible, isn't it?
Oh. It gets me every time.
Get the tissues out of it. I'll read you this final paragraph.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Perhaps the ultimate beauty of Dick Tracy's design can be described by the way in which its apparent limitations actually freed the film's creators to imagine a whole new world. It's getting over the top now. As an orchestration of filmmaking talent, it called for virtuosity, balance and harmony, and an understanding of storytelling dynamics. The design of Dick Tracy never hit a false note. This came as no surprise to Richard Silbert, who, after all, doesn't work with Hummers. And that last line about Hummers was a line from earlier in the book, when he says, you hum it, I'll do it, basically. You hum it, I'll make it. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
But, something like that. But anyway, Richard was happy, wasn't he? Yeah.
He got to work on something that he seemingly really enjoyed. Someone who was over halfway through, at least 3/4 of the way through their career, and found a project that they could really get their teeth into again and challenge them. And and you get put up against a challenge, and you produce arguably the best work he's ever done.
Well, I toast to Richard Silbert. What a legend. And I hope he's got some kids and stuff. Obviously, they're still out there, and maybe they're working in the industry and following their dad and their grandfather's footsteps.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great man. And the rest of the team, who probably need their own episode, but we'll come back to them.
Yeah. We've got time. Don't worry. We will not forget anybody. we'll come back for you.
Every single person involved. If you're alive, we're gonna contact you. All right. Okay. On this slightly ridiculous note, I just wanted to shout out a couple of comments before we end the episode. Jedi Yodabush 86 has been in touch. They said, so we can't have any new Dick Tracy until Warren Beatty gives it up. A Disney Plus show, even animated, makes too much sense. We hear you, Jedi Yodabush, but when we get to the rights, it's complicated. Jedi Yodabush also writes, I am a real person. I've had the same username since middle school, lol. I am the only person in all of Pennsylvania that loves Dick Tracy. And this was off the back of us reading out one of their comments and kind of implied they might be a robot or something.
Well, sorry about that. We definitely know you are real now, Jedi Yodabush. And I keep the comments coming. The more, the better.
So we've got a battle on YouTube between the kind of number one fan at the moment, Queen Street Entertainment and Jedi Yodabush. Queen Street Entertainment says, where do I buy the T-shirt? I think I'm the number one fan of the channel. So I'm loving these interactions. Keep them coming. The final exciting news is new follower on Instagram, John Caglioni Jr.
Yeah.
is now following us on Instagram.
As in the John Caglioni Jr.
Well,
makeup.
He's got a blue tick, Academy and Emmy award-winning makeup artist. He gave us a follow. He's following 6,878 people, so we're one of them.
I'm just glad to be amongst that crowd. I really am.
Yeah,
wow,
amazing. That gives me a nice idea. We should probably inbox him and say, John, come on the show.
Yeah.
No, so that's really exciting. I'm really glad everyone's sharing our posts and liking them and building the Dick Tracy community. It's amazing. So thank you everyone for supporting us, and we will be back next week with another deep dive topic, ready to talk Dick. Until then,
see you then. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to get in touch, you can email us at dtmoviepodcast@gmail.com. You'll also find us on X and Instagram at dtmoviepodcast. Or come and join our Facebook group, the Dick Tracy Movie Podcast. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel for bonus videos and extra content.